The spaceship Aurora moved quietly through the dark space around. Kepler 442. Captain Jake Morrison stood at the front window of his ship, looking down at the strange purple planet below. The planet looked different from Earth with its weird colors. And two small moons. Jake had been flying spaceships for 20 years, but he still felt excited when he saw new worlds. "Captain, we're getting another message from the planet," said Amy Chun from her seat at the communications desk. She was young but very good at her job. The radio signals had been coming from the planet for 3 days now, and each one was clearer than the last. Jake walked over to Amy's station. "What are they saying this time?" Amy looked at her screen and smiled. "They want to meet us. They're inviting us to come down to their planet tomorrow?" Dr. Lisa Parker looked up from her science books. She was the ship's expert on alien life, and she had been studying everything they knew about this planet for months. "This is incredible, Jake. We're about to meet our first real aliens." The planet was called Zarian Prime by the creatures who lived there. The aliens called themselves the Zirioni, and from what the humans could tell, they were smart and peaceful. Their cities looked like they were made of crystal, and they grew from the ground like giant flowers. The Zirioni had sent pictures of their world, and it looked like a beautiful garden planet. Commander Rick Hayes was checking his equipment in the corner. He was a big man with gray hair who had been a soldier before he became a space explorer. "I've got the landing party ready. Me, Dr. Parker, and Amy will go down first. We'll take the small shuttle," Jake nodded. "Remember, these are the first aliens we've ever met. We need to be careful and respectful. We don't want to scare them or make them angry." The next morning, the three humans climbed into their small shuttle. The shuttle was white and round, built for landing on different kinds of planets. As they flew down through the purple sky, they could see the crystal cities getting bigger and bigger. The buildings looked like they were alive, growing and changing as they watched. "Look at that," Amy said, pointing out the window. "Those buildings are actually moving." Dr. Parker was taking pictures of everything. "The Zirioni must have very advanced technology, but it's different from ours. They seem to work with nature instead of against it." The shuttle landed in a big open space that looked like a park. There were strange purple and blue plants everywhere, and the ground was covered with soft grass that glowed a little bit. 3 tall figures were waiting for them near a fountain that shot rainbow-colored water into the air. The humans stepped out of their shuttle and got their first real look at the Zirioni. The aliens were much taller than humans, about 8 feet high. They had long arms and legs, and their skin was smooth and gray. But the most amazing thing about them was that their skin had patterns of light that moved and changed colors like a TV screen. The leader of the Zirioni walked forward. He moved slowly and gracefully, like he was dancing. The lights on his skin were mostly blue and green, which seemed to be calm colors for his people. "Welcome, travelers from the stars," the alien said through a small device that changed his words into English. "I am Curator Vexhi. We are very happy to meet you." Commander Hayes stepped forward and bowed a little. "Thank you for welcoming us. I'm Commander Rick Hayes. This is Dr. Lisa Parker, and this is Amy Chun. We come from a planet called Earth." The other two Zirioni came forward. One was introduced as Creonel, who was a scientist like Dr. Parker. The other was Morthek, who seemed to be like a diplomat or politician. All three aliens had the same gentle way of moving and speaking. "We have prepared a place for you to stay while you visit our world," Curator Vexhi said. "We hope you will teach us about your people, and we will teach you about ours." Dr. Parker was amazed by everything she saw. The Zirioni treated every plant and animal with great care. When they walked through their garden city, they stepped carefully around even the smallest flowers. When a small flying creature landed on Morthek's arm, he stood very still until it flew away on its own. "Your world is beautiful," Dr. Parker said. "How do you keep everything so clean and healthy?" Creonel's skin patterns turned bright yellow, which seemed to mean he was happy. "We believe all life is connected. When we take care of the plants and animals, they take care of us too. We never hurt anything if we don't have to." The humans were shown to a building that looked like it was made of living crystal. Inside, everything was smooth and round with no sharp edges anywhere. The walls glowed softly with warm light, and there were plants growing everywhere. "This is where you will sleep," Curator Vexhai explained. "We have tried to make it comfortable for creatures like you. We studied your messages to learn what humans need." Amy looked around the room with wonder. "It's perfect, thank you so much." That evening, the Zirioni invited the humans to their first meal together. They sat around a low table in a room with walls that were see-through. Outside, they could see the purple sunset and the two moons rising in the sky. The Zirioni brought out many different foods. There were fruits that looked like jewels, vegetables that tasted like nothing the humans had ever tried, and drinks that changed color as they drank them. Everything was delicious, but Dr. Parker noticed that it was all plants. There was no meat anywhere. "This food is wonderful," Commander Hayes said. "Do you grow all of this yourselves?" "Yes," Morthek replied. "We grow what we need and share with all life on our planet. The plants give us food, and we give them care and protection." Dr. Parker was curious. "Are there animals on your planet too?" The three Zirioni looked at each other, and their skin patterns changed to darker colors. "Yes, there are animals," Curator Vexhai said slowly, "but we try not to bother them. Some of them are very dangerous." "Dangerous how?" Amy asked. Creonil's patterns turned dark blue. "There are creatures called the Dracomori. They are very big and very strong. They eat other animals, and sometimes they attack our cities. We have learned to hide from them and stay away from them." The humans found this interesting. On Earth, humans had learned to deal with dangerous animals in very different ways. But they didn't want to upset their new friends by talking about hunting or fighting animals. "We understand," Commander Hayes said. "Every planet has its challenges." After dinner, the Zirioni showed the humans around their city. Everything was lit up with soft, beautiful lights. The buildings seemed to breathe and move slightly like they were alive. Children Zirioni played in the streets, their skin patterns bright and colorful with happiness. "Tomorrow we will show you more of our world," Curator Vexhai said. "And we hope you will tell us more about your Earth and your people." The humans went to sleep that night feeling excited and happy. They had made contact with a peaceful alien race, and everything was going well. Dr. Parker wrote in her journal about all the amazing things she had seen. Amy sent a message back to the ship telling Captain Morrison that everything was perfect. None of them knew that the next day would change everything. They had no idea that the simple act of sharing their own food and culture would turn their new friends into terrified enemies. The humans fell asleep thinking about the wonderful future they would have with the Zirioni, not knowing that they were about to become the most feared creatures in the galaxy. The second day on Zarian Prime started with beautiful purple sunlight coming through the crystal walls. Dr. Lisa Parker woke up early and looked out at the alien city. The buildings were slowly changing colors as the sun came up, like they were waking up too. She had never seen anything so amazing. Commander Rick Hayes was already awake and checking his equipment. "Good morning, Lisa. Did you sleep well?" "Very well," Dr. Parker said. "These beds are more comfortable than the ones on our ship. How do they make everything so perfect?" Amy Chun came out of her room yawning. "I had the strangest dreams." "I dreamed." "I could understand the colors on their skin without the translator." They ate breakfast with their Zirioni hosts in the same beautiful room as the night before. The alien food was still delicious, but Dr. Parker noticed again that everything was plants. She started to wonder if the Zirioni even knew that some creatures ate other creatures. "Today we want to show you our greatest achievement, Curator," Vexhai said. His skin patterns were bright gold, which meant he was very excited. "We have built a place where all the creatures of our world can live together in peace." The humans followed their hosts through the Crystal City. Everywhere they went, Zirioni people stopped to look at them. The aliens seemed curious but not scared. Their skin patterns were mostly light colors, which the humans had learned meant they were happy and interested. They came to a huge dome made of clear crystal. Inside, Dr. Parker could see a perfect copy of a forest, with streams and hills and thousands of different plants. Animals moved around freely, eating plants and playing together. It was like a perfect zoo, but with no cages. "This is our Harmony Garden," Creonil explained. "Here, all life exists together without fear or fighting. The plant eaters have plenty to eat, and the meat eaters have learned to eat only plants too." Commander Hayes looked confused. "You taught the meat eaters to eat plants?" "Yes," Morthek said proudly. "It took many years, but we helped them learn. Now no animal hurts another animal. Everyone is safe and happy." Dr. Parker was amazed but also a little worried. On Earth, ecosystems needed predators to stay healthy, but she didn't want to argue with their hosts. That's very impressive. It must have taken a lot of work. They spent the morning walking through the Harmony Garden. The humans saw animals that looked like deer, rabbits, and birds, but also creatures they had never seen before. Some looked like giant butterflies with 6 wings. Others looked like cats but with scales instead of fur. All of them were calm and gentle. "Are these all the animals from your planet?" Amy asked. The 3 Zirioni looked at each other, and their skin patterns changed to darker colors. "No," Curator Vexhai said quietly. "There are others. But they are too dangerous to bring here. They live far away from our cities." After lunch, the Zirioni asked the humans to share their own culture. Commander Hayes had brought some pictures and videos from Earth. He showed them cities and forests, oceans and mountains. The aliens seemed fascinated by everything. "Your world is very different from ours," Creonil said. "Tell us about your food. What do humans eat?" Dr. Parker smiled. "We eat many things, fruits and vegetables like you, but also other foods." She showed them pictures of farms with wheat and corn, orchards with apples and oranges. "These look similar to our foods," Morthek said. "What else do you eat?" Amy pulled out her tablet and showed them more pictures. "We also eat fish from the oceans." She showed them pictures of salmon and tuna. The Zirioni's skin patterns flickered a little. "Fish are animals," Curator Vexhai said slowly. "Yes, they are," Dr. Parker said. "Humans are omnivores. That means we eat both plants and animals. It's natural for us." The room became very quiet. The 3 aliens looked at each other, and their skin patterns were changing rapidly between different colors. The humans had never seen them do this before. "You eat animals?" Creonil asked, his voice sounding strange through the translator. "Yes," Commander Hayes said. "Many humans do. We raise cattle and pigs and chickens for food. We also hunt wild animals like deer and rabbits." The Zirioni's patterns turned dark. Blue and purple. Dr. Parker remembered that these were the colors they showed when they talked about dangerous things. "You kill animals to eat them?" Morthek asked. "Well, yes," Amy said. "That's how we get meat. But we try to do it quickly and without causing pain." Curator Vexhai stood up suddenly. His skin was flashing between dark colors very quickly. "You are predators," he said. The humans looked at each other, confused. "I guess you could say that," Dr. Parker said. "But we're not dangerous to you. We would never hurt you." "But you kill other creatures for food?" Creonil said. His whole body was shaking a little. "Only animals," Commander Hayes said. "We don't hurt intelligent creatures like you. We have laws against that." The Zirioni were talking to each other in their own language now, making sounds that the translator couldn't understand. Their skin patterns were flashing faster and faster, and the humans started to feel worried. "Is something wrong?" Amy asked. Curator Vexhai turned back to them. "You said you hunt animals? What kinds of animals?" Dr. Parker thought this was a strange question, but she answered anyway. "Different kinds. Some humans hunt small animals like rabbits and birds. Others hunt larger animals like deer and elk." "What are the largest animals you hunt?" Morthek asked. Commander Hayes thought for a moment. "Some people hunt bears, I guess. And there are people who hunt big cats like lions and tigers, but that's not very common anymore." The 3 Zirioni made a sound that was like a gasp. Their skin patterns went completely dark. "You hunt bears?" Creonil whispered. And big cats? Morthek added. Well, some people do, Amy said, but most of us just buy our meat from stores. We don't have to hunt for it. But humans can hunt creatures that are dangerous predators, Curator Vexhai said. It wasn't a question. Yes, we can, Dr. Parker said. Humans have always been good hunters. It's how our species survived and grew strong. The silence in the room was uncomfortable. The Zirioni were standing very still, and their skin patterns were darker than the humans had ever seen them. On our world, Curator Vexhai said very quietly, there are creatures called Drakmori. They are the most dangerous predators on our planet. They are bigger than your bears and more deadly than your big cats. For millions of years, they have hunted our people. We have built our entire civilization around hiding from them and staying safe. The humans listened carefully. They were starting to understand why the aliens seemed so upset. We have never fought them, Krianil continued. We have never tried to hunt them. The idea of killing and eating such creatures is... He stopped talking and his skin turned almost black. We don't eat predators very often, Commander Hayes said, trying to make them feel better. Most of our meat comes from plant-eating animals like cows and sheep, but this seemed to make things worse. Morthek's skin patterns were flashing so fast they looked like lightning. You eat the gentle creatures too? He asked. Dr. Parker realized they had made a big mistake. The Zirioni didn't just avoid eating meat. They thought eating any animal was horrible and scary. We should go back to our rooms, she said quietly. We need to think about this. The three aliens nodded, but they didn't move. They just stood there with their dark skin patterns, looking at the humans like they had never seen them before. As the humans walked back to their crystal building, they could hear the Zirioni talking rapidly in their own language. The sounds were getting louder and more urgent. I think we have a problem, Amy said. A big problem, Commander Hayes agreed. Dr. Parker looked back at their hosts, who were still standing in the same spot, their skin flashing dark colors. She had a feeling that tomorrow was going to be very different from today. The third day started very differently from the first two. When the humans woke up, they noticed that the crystal building around them wasn't glowing as brightly as before. The soft lights that had made everything look warm and welcoming were now dim and cold. Dr. Lisa Parker looked out the window and saw that the city had changed too. Instead of the bright, cheerful colors they had seen before, everything looked gray and quiet. There were no Zirioni people walking in the streets, and the buildings seemed to be hiding somehow. Something's wrong, Commander Rick Hayes said as he joined her at the window. Where is everyone? Amy Chen was trying to use her communication device to contact their ship, but she was having trouble. I can't get through to Captain Morrison. Something is blocking our signals. A soft sound came from the main door of their building. The three humans went to see what it was and found the three Zirioni standing outside. But they looked very different from the day before. Their skin patterns were still dark, and they moved slowly and carefully like they were afraid. We must talk, Curator Vexhai said through his translator. His voice sounded different too, more serious and scared. They all sat down in the same room where they had eaten their meals, but there was no food this time. The Zirioni sat far away from the humans, and their skin patterns kept changing between dark blue and black. Yesterday you told us that humans eat animals, Krianil said. We have been talking about this all night. We need to understand more. Dr. Parker tried to smile. Of course. We're happy to answer your questions. Show us, Morthek said suddenly. Show us how humans hunt and eat animals. The humans looked at each other. This seemed like a strange request, but they wanted to help their new friends understand. We don't have any animals to hunt here, Commander Hayes said. But we have pictures and videos from Earth. Would that help? The three Zirioni nodded, but they didn't look happy about it. Dr. Parker got out her tablet and found some videos that showed human hunting. She chose ones that looked educational and not too scary. The first video showed a man with a bow and arrow hunting a deer in a forest. As soon as the video started, the Zirioni's skin patterns went completely black. They made soft sounds that the translator couldn't understand. When the hunter and the Video shot the deer. All three aliens stood up quickly and backed away from the table. "Stop," Curator Vexhai said. His voice was shaking. "Please stop." But Dr. Parker thought they just needed to understand better. She showed them a video of people fishing in a river. "This is gentler," she said. "Fishing is very peaceful." The Zirioni watched as the humans in the video caught fish and put them in a basket. But instead of feeling better, the aliens looked even more upset. "You take them from their homes," Creonil whispered. "You take them from the water where they live." "Well, yes," Amy said. "But fish don't feel pain the same way we do." "It's not cruel." Morthic's skin patterns were flashing so fast they looked like a storm. "How do you know they don't feel pain? How do you know they don't want to live?" The humans were starting to understand how different they were from the Zirioni. These aliens felt sorry for every living thing, even fish and insects. "Let me show you something else," Dr. Parker said. She found a video of a modern farm with cows and chickens. "Most humans don't hunt anymore. We raise animals on farms and take care of them." The video showed farmers feeding cattle and collecting eggs from chickens. Dr. Parker thought this would make the Zirioni feel better because the animals looked happy and healthy, but the aliens became even more upset. "You keep them as prisoners," Curator Vexhai said. "You feed them and care for them, but only so you can kill them later." "That's not how we think about it," Commander Hayes said. "We give them good lives, and then we use them for food." "It's been this way for thousands of years?" "Thousands of years?" Creonil asked. "Humans have been killing animals for thousands of years?" "Much longer than that," Amy said. "Humans have been hunters for hundreds of thousands of years. It's how we survived and became the dominant species on our planet." The room became very quiet. The Zirioni were looking at each other with their dark skin patterns, and the humans could feel that something bad was happening. "Dominant species," Morthek repeated slowly. "You became the dominant species by killing other creatures." "That's one way to put it," Dr. Parker said. "But we also became smart and learned to work together. Hunting was just part of our evolution." Curator Vexhai stood up and walked to the window. He looked out at his city for a long time before speaking again. "We need to understand something. You said you hunt bears and big cats? These are dangerous predators, yes?" "Yes, they can be dangerous," Commander Hayes said. "But humans learned to hunt them anyway. We're very good at working as a team." "What other dangerous creatures do humans hunt?" Creonil asked. Dr. Parker thought about this. "Well, some people hunt wild boars, which can be very aggressive. And there are people who hunt crocodiles and alligators, though that's not very common." The Zirioni made that gasping sound again. Their skin patterns were getting darker and darker. "You hunt crocodiles?" Morthak asked. "Some people do," Amy said. "And some people hunt sharks in the ocean, but most of us just buy our food from stores." "Sharks," Curator Vexhai repeated. "You hunt the apex predators of your oceans." The humans were getting confused by how upset the aliens were. "It's not that unusual," Dr. Parker said. "Humans have always been good at hunting dangerous animals. We're smart and we use tools." "Tools," Creonil said. "Show us these tools." Commander Hayes hesitated. He had weapons on the ship, but he didn't want to scare the aliens more than they already were. "We have different kinds of tools. Bows and arrows, spears, and more advanced weapons for hunting big game." "More advanced?" Morthak asked. "Rifles and other firearms," Amy said. "They can kill large animals from far away." The Zirioni looked at each other, and their skin patterns started flashing in ways the humans had never seen before. It looked like they were having a conversation without words. "We need to tell you about the Drakmori," Curator Vexhai said finally. "You need to understand what these creatures are to us." He walked to a wall that suddenly became like a TV screen. Pictures appeared showing a creature that made the humans step back in surprise. The Drakmori was enormous, at least 20 feet long, with 6 legs and a mouthful of teeth. It looked like a cross between a tiger and a dragon. "This is our worst nightmare," Creonil explained. "For millions of years, these creatures have hunted our people. They are faster than us, stronger than us, and smarter than most animals." 1. Dracomori can destroy an entire Zirioni village. The pictures showed the damage these creatures could do. Broken buildings, torn metal, and places where Zirioni had tried to hide and failed. We built our cities in the sky and underground to escape. Them, Morthek said. Our entire technology, our whole civilization, exists because we needed to hide from the Dracomori. Dr. Parker was starting to understand. So when we said we hunt dangerous predators, you said you hunt creatures like the Dracomori, Curator. Vexai said. You said you kill and eat the things that we fear most in the universe, Commander Hayes tried to explain. But we would never hurt you. We only hunt animals, not intelligent beings like yourselves. But you are predators, Creonil sighed. You are the ultimate predators. You don't just hunt gentle plant eaters, you hunt the hunters themselves? The humans finally understood why the Zirioni were so scared. To these peaceful aliens, humans weren't just meat eaters. They were the most dangerous creatures imaginable, predators who hunted other predators. We should go back to our ship, Dr. Parker said quietly. We need to think about how to fix this. But when they looked out the window, they saw that the Crystal City was changing again. The buildings were getting darker, and Zirioni people were moving quickly through the streets. It looked like they were preparing for something. I don't think they're going to let us leave, Amy said. The three aliens were talking rapidly in their own language now, their skin patterns flashing like warning lights. The humans realized that they had gone from being welcome guests to being seen as the most terrifying creatures in the galaxy, and they still had no idea how much worse things were about to get. The fourth day began with sirens. Dr. Lisa Parker woke up to loud warning sounds coming from all around the Crystal City. The walls of their building were flashing red and orange lights, and she could hear thousands of Zirioni voices outside, making sounds of fear and panic. Commander Rick Hayes was already awake and looking out the window. Lisa, you need to see this, he said. His voice was very serious. Dr. Parker joined him at the window and gasped. The Crystal City that had been so beautiful and peaceful was now filled with chaos. Zirioni people were running through the streets, carrying bags and children. The buildings were changing shape, closing up like flowers at night. Some of the crystal structures were sinking into the ground. What's happening? Amy Chen asked as she ran into the room. Before anyone could answer, the door to their building opened. But instead of their three alien friends, a group of 12 Zirioni soldiers came in. These aliens looked different from the others. They wore dark armor that covered most of their bodies, and they carried strange weapons that glowed with blue light. The leader of the soldiers stepped forward. His skin patterns were completely black except for red flashes that looked like anger. You will come with us, he said through his translator. Our leaders want to speak with you. What's wrong? Commander Hayes asked, why is everyone so upset? The soldiers' red patterns flashed brighter. You know what you did? You told our people that you are Death Eaters. Now everyone is afraid? The humans were taken outside and put into a vehicle that looked like it was made of liquid metal. As they rode through the city, they could see Zirioni families hiding in their buildings. Some aliens saw the humans and made that gasping sound of fear. Others just stared with their dark skin patterns. They think we're monsters, Amy whispered. We need to fix this somehow, Dr. Parker said. They were brought to the biggest building in the city, a huge crystal tower that reached up into the clouds. Inside, hundreds of Zirioni leaders were waiting for them. The room was enormous, with seats arranged in circles around a center stage. All the aliens had dark skin patterns, and the room felt cold and scary. Curator Vexai was there, along with Creonil and Morthak. But they didn't look like the same friendly aliens from before. They sat far away from the humans and wouldn't look at them directly. An old Zirioni with silver patterns on his skin stood up. I am High Curator Zexenal, he said. We have called this emergency meeting because of what we have learned about your species. Dr. Parker tried to speak. We want to explain. Silence, Zexenal said loudly. We will speak first. Then you will answer our questions. The old alien walked to the center of the room. Yesterday, our friends told us that humans eat animals. We thought this was strange but not dangerous. Today we learned much more. You do not just eat gentle creatures. You hunt and kill the apex predators of your world. Murmurs of fear went through the crowd of Zirioni. Many of them made that gasping sound. But this is not the worst part, Zexanol continued. We have been studying the information you gave us about your planet Earth. We have learned that humans have driven many predator species to extinction. Not by accident, but on purpose. Commander Hayes stood up. That's not exactly— Sit down! One of the soldiers shouted. Zexanol raised his hand for quiet. Your species killed the giant cave bears. You destroyed the saber-toothed cats. You eliminated the dire wolves and the giant sharks. Every apex predator that competed with humans, you removed from your world. The room was getting louder as more Zirioni joined in making sounds of fear and anger. Dr. Parker realized that they had researched human history and found all the worst parts. We also learned that humans still hunt predators today, Crionel sighed, standing up from his seat. They hunt bears and large cats not for food or safety, but for sport. They kill dangerous creatures because they enjoy it. Amy tried to explain. Some people do that, but most humans don't. Most humans buy meat from stores, Morthek interrupted. Meat that comes from animals that other humans killed for them. Your entire species depends on the death of other creatures. Zexanol walked closer to the humans. But the most terrifying thing we learned is how humans hunt. You do not use strength or speed like other predators, you use intelligence and tools. You work together to kill creatures much larger and stronger than yourselves. Pictures appeared on the walls around the room. They showed human hunters working as teams, using weapons and traps to catch dangerous animals. The Zirioni watching made sounds of horror as they saw humans taking down elephants, tigers, and other large predators. Your species is the ultimate predator, Zexanol said. You are not just dangerous to prey animals. You are dangerous to predators themselves. You are predators of predators. The crowd of Zirioni was getting more upset. Some of them were standing up and shouting in their own language. Their skin patterns were flashing between black and red so fast it hurt to look at them. Please, Dr. Parker said loudly, let us explain. Yes, humans hunt animals, but we're not monsters. We also protect animals. We have zoos and nature preserves where we keep animals safe. This seemed to make things worse. Zexanol's patterns turned. Bright red, you keep predators in cages? You capture the most dangerous creatures on your world and imprison them? For their own protection, Commander Hayes said, and for education. We want people to learn about animals without being afraid of them, but the Zirioni didn't understand this at all. To them, capturing predators was even more terrifying than hunting them. You have tamed the creatures that would terrorize our people, Crionel said. You have made them into pets. The crowd was getting out of control now. Zirioni were standing on their seats and making loud sounds of panic. Some of them were pointing at the humans and talking rapidly in their own language. Zexanol raised his hands for quiet. There is more. We have one final question for you. The room became silent, but it was the kind of silence that comes before a storm. Our scouts have found evidence of Drakomori near our city, Zexanol said slowly. They have been getting closer to our homes, and our people are very afraid. Yesterday, before we knew what you really were, Curator Vexhai asked you if you could help us with this problem. Dr. Parker remembered the conversation. Yes, we said we might be able to help. You offered to hunt the Drakomori for us, Morthek said. You offered to track down and kill the most terrifying predators on our world like it was a simple task. The humans looked at each other. They had meant it as a friendly offer, trying to help their new alien friends. But now they understood how it sounded to the Zirioni. You offered to hunt our living nightmares, Curator Vexhai said. The creatures that have terrorized us for millions of years. You spoke of killing them like they were nothing more than large rabbits. Commander Hayes tried to defend their offer. We just wanted to help. If these creatures are threatening your people, you wanted to hunt them and eat them, Zexanol shouted. You wanted to consume our greatest fear. The crowd exploded into chaos. Zirioni were shouting and waving their arms. Many of them were backing away from the humans as far as they could get. Others looked like they wanted to attack. "You are the Drakmori of the stars," someone shouted from the crowd. "You are predators who hunt predators." Another voice called, "Out, Death Eaters from the void." A third alien screamed at Dr. Parker, tried to speak over the noise. "We would never hurt you. We only hunt animals, not intelligent beings." But Zexanol pointed at her with a shaking hand. "How do we know that? How do we know that a species capable of hunting apex predators will not decide to hunt us? You have already eliminated every predator that competed with you on your own world. What happens when you decide that other intelligent species are competition too?" The question hung in the air like a terrible threat. The humans realized that the Zirioni weren't just afraid of them as predators. They were afraid that humans might decide to hunt intelligent aliens the same way they hunted dangerous animals. "That would never happen," Amy said desperately. "We have laws against hurting intelligent beings. We would never—" "You have laws now," Zexanol interrupted. "But laws can change. Predators always want more territory, more food, more power. What happens when humans spread across the galaxy? What happens when you meet other species that you see as threats?" The humans had no answer for this. They had never thought about how their hunting nature might look to peaceful species like the Zirioni. "We are calling for an emergency evacuation of this planet," Zexanol announced. "All Zirioni people will be moved to our hidden colonies until these Death Eaters leave our system." "Wait," Dr. Parker called out. "Please, just listen to us. We can work this out." But the Zirioni leaders were already leaving. The soldiers moved closer to the humans, their weapons glowing brighter. "You will be returned to your ship," the soldier leader said. "You will leave our system immediately and never return. If you try to follow us or find our other worlds, we will consider it an act of war." As they were let out of the building, the humans could see the evacuation beginning. Zirioni families were boarding ships that rose up from hidden places in the ground. The beautiful crystal city was being abandoned because its people were too afraid to live there while humans were. In the same star system, we were trying to be friends, Amy said sadly. The shuttle ride back to the Oro was the quietest trip any of the humans had ever taken. Dr. Lisa Parker stared out the window at the empty crystal city below. Just 2 days ago, it had been full of life and beauty. Now it looked like a ghost town, with only the wind moving through the abandoned buildings. Captain Jake Morrison was waiting for them in the shuttle bay. His face was serious, and Dr. Parker could tell he had been listening to their radio conversations. "That bad?" he asked as they walked out of the shuttle. "Worse?" Commander Rick Hayes said. "They think we're monsters, Jake. They abandoned their entire planet because they're afraid of us." Amy Chun was carrying her equipment bags, but her hands were shaking. "We just wanted to be friends. How did everything go so wrong?" Dr. Parker sat down in the shuttle bay and put her head in her hands. "We never thought about how our hunting would look to a species of prey animals. To us, hunting is just part of life. To them, we're the most terrifying things in the universe." Captain Morrison helped them carry their equipment to the science lab. "Tell me everything that happened." For the next hour, the 3 humans explained the whole disaster. They told Jake about the Zirioni's peaceful nature, their fear of the Drakmori predators, and how the aliens had reacted when they learned about human hunting. "So they're evacuating their whole planet?" Jake asked. "The entire system, Commander," Hayes said. "They're moving to hidden colonies and telling us never to come back. If we try to follow them, they'll consider it an act of war." Jake sat quietly for a few minutes thinking. He had been dealing with difficult situations for 20 years, but this was unlike anything he had ever faced. "Maybe we can fix this," he said finally. "How?" Amy asked. "They're terrified of us. They think we're going to hunt them next." "No," Dr. Parker said slowly. "They're not afraid we'll hunt them. They're afraid we'll decide their competition and eliminate them like we did with the saber-toothed cats and cave bears." Jake looked confused. "What do you mean?" Dr. Parker stood up and started walking around the room. "Think about it from their point of view. They're a peaceful species that has spent millions of years hiding from predators. Then we show up and tell them we're the kind of creatures that hunt apex predators for fun. To them, we're not just dangerous, we're the ultimate evolutionary success story of predation. So what can we do? Commander Hayes asked. We need to show them the other side of humanity, Dr. Parker said. The side that protects instead of hunts. Amy looked hopeful for the first time since they had returned to the ship. You mean our conservation efforts? Exactly, Dr. Parker said. We need to show them that the same humans who learn to hunt dangerous predators also learn to protect them. Jake was starting to understand. You want to prove that we're not just predators. We're not just predators, Dr. Parker said. We're guardians. We learn to manage ecosystems, not just destroy them. The next morning, Dr. Parker sent a message to the Zerioni ships that were still leaving the planet. She asked for just one more meeting, promising that she had something important to show them. At first, there was no answer. Then, after several hours, a message came back from Curator Vex High. He would meet with one human, but only in the safety of his ship, and only for 30 minutes. Dr. Parker volunteered to go alone. She took her tablet and a special video she had prepared during the night. Curator Vex High's ship was small but beautiful, made of the same living crystal as their city buildings. When Dr. Parker arrived, she found the alien leader waiting for her in a round room with walls that showed the stars outside. You have 30 minutes, Vex High said. His skin patterns were still dark, but not as black as they had been during the emergency meeting. Thank you for seeing me, Dr. Parker said. I know you're afraid of humans, but I want to show you something that might change your mind. She turned on her tablet and showed him a video she had made. It started with pictures of Earth's national parks, vast areas of land where wild animals live safely under human protection. These are our nature preserves, she explained. We set aside millions of acres of land where animals can live without any human interference. Vex High watched quietly as the video showed forests full of deer, wolves, and bears living naturally. You protect predators? He asked. Yes, Dr. Parker said. We learned that ecosystems need predators to stay healthy, so we protect them now instead of hunting them. The next part of the video showed human wildlife biologists working with dangerous animals. They were tagging sharks in the ocean, treating injured bears, and helping wolves return to areas where they had been extinct. Wait, Vex High said. You work with the apex predators? You help them? We do more than that, Dr. Parker said. We study them, protect them, and sometimes we even bring them back from extinction. She showed him pictures of California condors, giant birds that had almost disappeared but were saved by human breeding programs. Then she showed him wolves returning to Yellowstone Park, and how their presence had made the whole ecosystem healthier. Vex High's skin patterns were changing from black to dark blue. I don't understand. You hunt these creatures, but you also protect them? We learned from our mistakes, Dr. Parker explained. Early humans did hunt many species to extinction. But modern humans understand that we need to be protectors, not just predators. She showed him the most important part of her video, human wildlife managers dealing with problem predators. Instead of killing bears or mountain lions that came too close to towns, the humans used tranquilizer guns to capture them safely and move them to new areas. You capture apex predators without killing them? Vex High asked. His skin was now showing flashes of lighter colors. We do it all the time, Dr. Parker said. We've learned to manage predators instead of just fighting them. Then she showed him something that made Vex High gasp. It was a video of human researchers working with great white sharks, some of the most dangerous predators on Earth. But instead of hunting them, the humans were studying them and protecting them from overfishing. Your people work alongside the most dangerous hunters in your oceans? He asked. We respect them, Dr. Parker said. We learned that just because we can hunt them doesn't mean we should. Our job now is to keep the balance between predators and prey. Vex High was quiet for a long time. His skin patterns were cycling through different colors as he thought about what he had seen. This gives me an idea, Dr. Parker said carefully. What if humans could help you with your Drakmori problem? Not by hunting them, but by managing them? What do you mean? Vexai asked. We could teach you how to safely capture and relocate Drakmori that come too close to your cities. We could help you create preserves where they can live without threatening your people. We could show you how to live alongside apex predators instead of just hiding from them. Vexai's patterns were now showing bright yellow mixed with blue. You would teach us to work with the Drakmori instead of fearing them. It's what we do best, Dr. Parker said. Humans learn to turn our greatest enemies into our greatest responsibilities. The 30 minutes were almost up, but Vexai seemed to have forgotten about the time limit. You said humans are predators of predators, but you're also protectors. Of predators? The best predators know when not to hunt, Dr. Parker said. We learned that the hard way. Vexai stood up and walked to the window, looking out at his abandoned planet. My people have been running from the Drakmori for millions of years. We never thought there might be another way. There is always another way, Dr. Parker said. But it requires working together. When Dr. Parker returned to the Aurora, she found Captain Morrison waiting for her with a big smile on his face. They want to talk, he said. All of them. Vexai convinced the other leaders to come back. Over the next few days, humans and Zirioni worked together to create a new plan. Instead of evacuating the planet, the Zirioni would learn human techniques for managing dangerous predators. Human experts would teach them how to safely capture and relocate Drakmori, how to create protected areas where the predators could live without threatening cities, and how to monitor predator populations to prevent them from becoming too dangerous. Amy Shun became the lead communications specialist for the project, helping Zirioni scientists understand human conservation methods. Commander Hayes trained Zirioni security teams in safe capture techniques. Dr. Parker worked with Crionil to design new technologies that combined human knowledge with Zirioni biotechnology. The project took months, but it worked. The first successful Drakmori capture happened on a bright purple morning when the two species worked together to safely relocate a large predator that had been threatening a Zirioni settlement. Instead of running in terror, the Zirioni watched as humans and their own people worked as a team to solve the problem. 6 months later, Captain Morrison stood in the same crystal plaza where they had first met the Zirioni. But now the city was fuller than ever, with both human and Zirioni scientists working together. Children from both species played in the gardens, and the adults shared meals and ideas. It's funny, Jake said to Dr. Parker, as they watched a group of young Zirioni learning about earth animals from Amy Chun. They were afraid we would hunt them, but instead we taught them how to hunt. Not hunt, Dr. Parker corrected. Manage, there's a big difference.